After a series of appeals from the public utility jeepney driving community, the LTFRB has finally approved the provisional 1 peso jeepney fare hike. Insights into this development, which was not welcomed by the riding public, shall be provided for this week on today's Motoring Forum by our guest, Atty. Martin Delgra, Chairman of the LTFRB. Good evening, Chairman Delgra, and welcome once again to Motoring Today.
Good evening, Butch, and to all the viewers of Motoring Today.
To begin with, can you please tell us the rationale of the LTFRB behind the approval of the provisional 1 peso fare hike?
Actually, insofar as the 1 peso fare hike that was asked by PUJ operators, it was mainly premised on the increase in fuel prices. And so, the last time that there was movement in the fare hike was in March 2016, when the minimum fare for PUJ was actually reduced from 750 to 7. But before that, it was 8 pesos and then later on reduced to 750. And eventually on March 2016, went down as low as 7 pesos. So now, or even as late as last year, the PUJ operator sought to increase the minimum fare back to 8 pesos because of the increase in fuel prices. And the fuel prices actually, when we reviewed it, has actually increased to about something like 10 pesos at the margin of, if I'm not mistaken, middle of 2014, when fuel prices was at, or diesel for that matter, was priced at somewhere 31 to 33 pesos, which is about, and the minimum fare then was actually 8 pesos also. So we benchmark it only as to the historical data that we have insofar as the fuel prices is concerned vis-a-vis the minimum wage.
What do you mean, sir, by provisional?
Provisional means this is interim or temporary. So the main case is still under consideration by the board. But hopefully we'll be able to address that pretty soon. However, the main prayer, initial as it may be, which was actually the 1 peso increase in minimum fare, was already granted. So the board has yet to decide with finality on the main petition.
Now tell us, do you have any specific date as to when this ends?
We actually cannot commit to a particular date, but hopefully we'll be able to decide on this pretty soon.
Can you please tell us more details of the fare hike? Are students and seniors affected?
Yeah, of course. Regardless of whatever price increase there may be, especially on price increases, not necessarily on fare reduction, but fare increases for that matter. By law, it is mandated that special privilege should be given to categories of people, like, for example, PWD or persons with disability. Students, for that matter, would enjoy the same discount of 20%, or senior citizens. No? So, by law, we have to recognize that. And in fact, in the order that we have released, granting the 1 peso increase in minimum fare, we have made it very clear there that these people, I'm referring to students, senior citizens, as well as PWDs, will still enjoy the discounts that they enjoy under the law.
Tell us, will there be other hikes aside from the 1 peso fare hike given to the jeepneys?
Aside from jeepney, we also have granted a minimum fare hike on taxi, more particularly on their flag down rate. Their flag down rate at currently, or at least before it became effective last Monday, was actually at 30 pesos. And so we increased it by 10, back to 40 pesos.
Now, while this is good news for the transport groups, there are also groups who express disapproval on LTFRB's decision, saying it would only add to the sufferings of poor workers and students. What is your take on this?
Actually, the reason why the board would normally take longer to decide on petitions for fare hike, it's because of its social and political impact, not only on the operators but also on the commuting public. In fact, under our rules, when there is a petition for a fare hike increase, the commuters are represented by government, specifically by the Office of the Solicitor General. And in fact, we made it a point that during the last hearing, when there was that hearing, after which we granted the fare hike increase for taxi and for PUJ, we have asked the representative from the commuters group in the person of Elvira Medina, who have been very much involved in commuters' issues for a long time. We asked her to speak on behalf of the commuters group, and she had no objection at the time insofar as the interim increase in the flag down rates for taxi as well as in the minimum wage for minimum fare for PUJ. I'd like to think that the public would be a bit more understanding, and in fact during the initial effectivity of the minimum fare for taxi and the PUJ, it seems like the public was more understanding insofar as the increases are concerned.
Thank you, Chairman Delgra. Before we end, do you have any message?
I'd like to say that for the public utility vehicle operators, so the bus operators, the taxi operators, UV operators, PUJ, and even for school bus service, let us be mindful of our obligation to be always be on alert and to be mindful of our responsibility to bring our passengers, the commuting public, safely, conveniently, from their point of origin to their point of destination. That is the only way that we can be assured that the public transportation system is very much working for the commuting public. And for the commuting public as well, the passengers, yung mga mananakay. I'd like to call upon you, kung meron mga problema tungkol dun sa mga drivers, sa mga operators, please do not hesitate to come to our office, call the hotline, hotline 1342, for any complaints that you would have, because that is the only way that we will be able to gauge how effective we may be as an agency and how the public transportation system has been managed by the regulatory arm, and that would be the LTFRB.
Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, Butch, and happy monitoring.
Insights into the recently approved and implemented provisional jeepney fare hike from Attorney Martin Delgra, Chairman of the LTFRB, this week's guest on Motoring Today's Motoring Forum.